All right, let's get right into it. I want to talk about a pretty hard truth. When everything hits the fan, when it's all on the line, who actually has your back? It's a tough lesson, for sure. But man, once you get it, it's one of the most powerful things you can ever learn.
Yeah, this quote, it just cuts right to the bone, doesn't it? It's that reality check that, well, life's gonna give every single one of us eventually. The real test of any friendship, any relationship, isn't when things are easy and going well. Nope. It's when that chain of good fortune snaps.
So you gotta ask, why? Why does this happen so often? Well, the core idea here is that we're living in a pretty transactional world. Let's kind of break down what that really means for the people in our lives.
Okay, so this is super important to get. A transactional relationship is one where the support is, well, it's conditional. People stick around as long as you're serving some kind of purpose for them. It's not that they're evil or malicious, it's just about utility. As long as you're useful, you bring value, you're fun to be around, you give them status, that connection is strong. But the second that usefulness disappears, poof, so does the connection.
And look, here's the really crucial part. It is so easy to take this personally, right? To feel betrayed. But the argument here is, it's not personal. It's just human nature. Think about it like a basic survival instinct. We're all running our own race, and when it comes down to it, people will almost always choose themselves first.
So if most of our connections are kind of built on this conditional thing, how in the world do you find the real ones? The ones that actually last? Well, life has this funny way of showing you. It puts you through what we're gonna call the two great filters.
Okay, so the first filter, it's the one we all kind of expect. Struggle, hard times. The moment you hit rock bottom, it's like your phone just dies. The calls stop. Suddenly everyone's busy or things get uncomfortable. But have you ever noticed the pattern? The second you start to get back on your feet, ping! The texts start coming in, the calls return. That's not friendship, that's just convenience.
Now this second filter, this one's the real shocker. It's your success. You'd think everyone would be popping champagne with you, right? But so often, that's when the jealousy, the quiet negativity, the insecurity, that's when it all bubbles to the surface. Your win can accidentally highlight their feeling of being stuck, so they just kind of pull away. But your true friends, oh man, they celebrate with you, genuinely. They're not just happy for you, they're inspired by you.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's the whole story. People are cool with you as long as you're running alongside them. But the moment you start pulling ahead, your success feels like a spotlight on their life. And they don't always like what they see.
So a good way to think about it is this. Success is like a giant mirror. It doesn't change people. It doesn't turn a good friend into a bad one. No, it just reveals who they really were all along. It shows you with perfect clarity who was genuinely rooting for you.
So, okay, after all this, after seeing how both your lowest lows and your highest highs can make people just disappear, it leads you to this one really big question. Who's actually left standing?
The answer? It's simple. It's direct. And honestly, it's incredibly empowering. It's you. You're the one. The only person who's there through every single struggle and every single success.
And that realization, that leads us straight to the solution. It's all about building this indestructible sense of self-reliance. It's about shifting your entire focus away from looking for help out there and instead building that strength right here, inside. You have to stop waiting for a savior. Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you build it? Well, it all starts with a change in how you think. First, you just stop waiting for someone to ride in and save the day. Second, you learn to be your own biggest fan, to clap for yourself when no one else is around. Third, you let your actions and your success do all the talking for you. And maybe the most important part, you become your own safety net. And really, this is the core of it all. Real, true personal power. It isn't about having 100 friends who like your posts. It's about knowing, deep down in your bones, that you can stand on your own 2 feet no matter what life throws at you. Now hold on, this doesn't mean you should go lock yourself away from the world. Not at all. It's about being way smarter about who you let close. And that starts with understanding the massive difference between real trust and, just fleeting emotions.
Just look at the difference here. False trust, that's all about feelings. Kind words, temporary comfort. It's easy, it's fast. But real trust, that's not a feeling. It's evidence, it's a track record.
It's something that's built, brick by painful brick, through consistent actions over time.
So where do you find this evidence? Where is this trust actually built? I'll tell you where it's not built. At parties or when everything's great. It's forged in the tough times, in the silence, in the discomfort, when you fail, when you're no longer useful to them. It's tested in those moments when it is completely inconvenient for them to be there, but they show up anyway.
And here's a thought that might just change everything for you. When someone lets you down, maybe your trust wasn't broken. Maybe it was just never properly built in the first place. Maybe you gave it away too easily, based on nice words and good vibes, instead of making them earn it with their actions.
All right, this brings us to our final big idea. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. We've been taught to fear being alone, but what if I told you that learning to stand in solitude isn't a weakness? What if it's actually your greatest power?
We have to totally redefine this word. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is a painful feeling of emptiness. Solitude, that's a choice. It's a state of power, of clarity. It's where you intentionally shut out all the noise of the world so you can finally hear your own voice.
And you know what you find in that quiet space? So much. You start building the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. You find this incredible freedom from needing other people to tell you you're okay. Your vision for your life gets sharper, more focused, and you find a sense of peace that doesn't depend on anyone else.
So the next time you find yourself alone, I want you to remember this. You're not lonely. You're preparing. You're in training. You're sharpening your tools, protecting your energy, and getting ready for whatever comes next.
So, let's leave it with this final thought. When it all comes down to it, the only person who is with you from your first breath to your last is you. So the real question isn't who has my back. The real question is, are you good company?